Hey guys, what's going on? It's quite late and dark, but welcome to a brand new MotoVlog. Almost at night time, so I don't know how good the video is going to be in terms of quality and stuff, but unfortunately all the recording went wrong on my way here, so that's a bit of a pity. It looks like I set off and forgot to actually turn the GoPros on, which is a little bit awkward. But yes, welcome to a brand new vlog. Welcome. I've just been to see my folks. I'm on the new bike, the Triumph Trophy 900. And so far this has been an absolute blast. Easily, of course, now my favourite bike. This is a 60 road, but I don't think we're going to be doing 60. But yeah, I sold the Virago 535. The MOT had run out. It needed 2 new tyres, new rear shocks. So I just sold it cheap to somebody that wanted to redo it up and give it to his kid for his first bike. And that's what it needed, really, was somebody that was able to have the time, the money and the patience to keep that thing running. Whereas I needed something a bit more reliable, a bit more ready for the long journeys that I want to eventually do. Well, the moon's out. But yeah, I got this for a very good price. Actually, for once, I had some really good luck. And I was able to sell my Virago not long after getting this. So I sold my Virago for a little less than what I was looking for, but still a decent price considering all the work it needed doing. So I got that sold for 600, and that 600 went towards this bike. And the guy I bought this off, Nigel, he was just looking for 1150 for this, so 1150. I managed to get him to knock 50 quid off. I knew it was already a fair price and everything, but I was like, could I get a little bit extra off? Would you be so kind? And he agreed. In fact, Nigel, if he doesn't mind me saying, was a really good chap. He was really good. He knew I worked nights, and when I said, it might be a couple of days before I can come take a look at it, he was like, well, what time do you finish in the morning? I could bring it round for you to have a look at and, see if it's your cup of tea and check it out. And I was like, oh man, that'd be amazing. No, I'd really appreciate that. And so he did. He brought it round for me to have a look at. For I had been to see the 1200 version of this. And the 1200 version of this is very nice, but it's even heavier and also had the disadvantage of being wider. So it was very not inspiring when it came to confidence. It was very confidence uninspiring. And now we're on the dual carriageway. I hope this sound isn't too bad for you guys, because it's going to be windy. But yeah, the 1200, it was just way too wide, so I didn't get a comfortable footing on that. Whereas this, I can flat foot. That bike being wider, it meant there was a longer period of time for your feet to get to the floor. And so, yeah, it was not good. Very big heavy bike. Otherwise, almost identical to this. But I'm glad I got the 900. It's very quick, it's very smooth. Same age as my old bike, so about 26 years old. And the bike itself is immaculate. I'll throw a picture up. But it's been very well looked after, very well maintained, brand new brakes, a clean bill of health on the MOT. So I think I've done very well to get this for essentially like £400, like £450. It wouldn't have been my first choice of bike because I've always ridden on very upright bikes. Not just upright, but like cruisers, so quite low bikes. But so far, I've like totally fallen in love with this. It's just got so many things I needed. It already had panniers, so I've already got that sorted out, and a top box. Although I only have the top box on if I'm going to be travelling. I don't really like top boxes. I think they're quite ugly personally. You've all seen me, right? Yeah. Just checking. What was I saying? A full concentration mode there. But yeah, I already had panniers, so I didn't have to worry about getting some panniers. Obviously I wanted to do some touring eventually, so I wanted the power. It's got the power. Some people prefer the 900 actually for the sound. The engine note is different to the 1200. And I would agree actually, the triple just sounds different. There's just something about it. What else? The bigger tank as well. Allegedly, you get about 275, maybe just shy of 300 miles on a full tank. And a full tank's not too expensive either. A full tank's about 270 odd miles. Even using the E5 petrol, so like the premium petrol, it's about 27 pounds to fill it up, and then you get that range. It's pretty damn good. And she just has so much power to spare. She's really quick and torquey down in the lower gears, but even when you're doing 70 on the motorway and dual carriageways, she's still got some in the tank to go. And it's like, damn, I really wish we had places where we could go other than a track to actually do max speed. So I haven't got anywhere near the top speed. I've done maybe just shy of 80 overtaking somebody on the motorway, but that's about it. Not done anything silly. Not yet, at least. But yeah, there's so much to like about this bike. Absolutely fantastic. Loving it so far. Just even the dash has got mod cons that I've not had before, like a fuel gauge, a rev counter. Never ever had them on any of my other three bikes. And a clock, which is wrong. I need to figure out how to change that. It's also nice to have a 6-speed bike again as well. So there's that extra gear when you're getting up into that top range. Every other bike I've had has been 5-speed. Other than the higher bike when the Virago got damaged. That higher bike, even though that was 500cc, that had 6 gears. This is the 60 right now. Do I do it? I'm doing it. Having the windscreen's nice as well. That might help with the some of the audio. And then we go from a 60 down into a 40. Was barely worth it. So yeah, hopefully the video quality is not too bad. I know GoPros aren't fantastic in the dark. This is also my first time driving in the dark on this bike. It's nice to see that the full beam is good. So yeah, that's the main part of things out of the way. Very much loving it right now. I will think about getting a 360 camera, because I do miss having a 360 camera. My plan was to order a singular GoPro 11, because it was on offer, because the 12's out, and the 12 doesn't really have any extra features beyond what I need for the for what comes with the 11. Like, the feature difference isn't that much at all. So I was like, oh, I'll get the Hero 11. First payment didn't go through, so I was like, oh, that's weird, since, you know, I've got the money. And then I did it again, and it went through, and I was like, yeah, there we go, perfect. And then I found out I ended up with 2 GoPros. So I paid one off, and kept the other one on pay monthly, because I figured, like, I'd have a front-mounted camera and then one for the rear, because there's been a lot of bikes been rear-ended recently in this area. So I was like, well, I definitely want a camera facing behind me. Just to make sure I'm covered for the rear. So yeah, really, essentially, it's just all positives. Literally the only negative, and I can't really show it now because it's dark, the handlebars for this Triumph, they're like a custom shape. So they're not round handlebars until you get to the grip. So they have a kind of, I guess, like, if you imagine the letter Y, it's like a Y shape going down to the handlebar base. So mounting hardware is difficult. So when it comes to mounting a sat-nav, I'm just going to use my phone, and I can't remember who it is now, but there is a company that do the phone mounts, and they have a mounting mechanism so that you can mount your phone to the brake reservoir. So I was like, that seems like a good idea, I'll do that. I haven't done that yet, but I will do. Because I'll definitely want a sat-nav if I do any, like, crazy big journeys, because I do eventually want to do, like, a drive up to Lake District, drive to Scotland, Wales, and then I can do a proper vlog, like, not just a MotoVlog, but an actual vlog of, like, you know, just a trip, you know. Just because, you know, bit of fun, something else for the channel. Maybe get a drone and then you know, get some nice video footage of me on the bike and some of the areas that I go to, especially Wales and Scotland and the Lake Districts. It'd be rude not to get some cool drone shots. What's something else I can say about the bike? To be honest, it was quite weird. There was very little information, especially on YouTube, very little information about the Trophy 900. So there might be a bunch of people here purely because this is a recent video on the Trophy 900. So if you are, then welcome. If you have any questions, I'll try my best to answer them. I've got used to the weight of the bike pretty quickly. I think it's a good 100, maybe 200 pounds heavier than the Virago. But because I've still got that good footing, it's not really that much trouble, not at all. In fact, if anything, for cornering and stuff, having the extra weight is fantastic, because the Virago is so light. If you had any fast corners, you weren't fighting the bike per se, but it just wants to stand back up again. Because it's so light, if you throw it into a corner, it's just trying to upright itself. Whereas this, you know, with a full tank of fuel especially, as soon as you lean this into a corner, you're actually having to do a bit more work to bring it back up again. So you can throw this into a corner and the bike does most of the work for you, gravity. So that's actually quite nice. And if it's really, really windy, I can just pop my head down like this. But I won't do that because you look a bit silly. So yeah, really, I've got next to no negatives really about the bike. Like I say, other than the handlebars, I am still getting used to the slightly forward riding position because it is a kind of sports tourer. So I do feel a bit of pressure on my throttle hand, but that's just something to get used to. I think what I'll probably do is get one of those little cruise control attachments for the throttle. If you don't know what they are, what I'm talking about, it's just like a little clip-on piece of plastic, so that once you've twisted the throttle into the position for your speed, you can just rest your thumb or your palm and thumb on this piece of plastic. You just rest your hand there and keep the throttle going. Rather than like gripping the throttle, you could just casually just lay your hand on top, I guess. Best way of describing it. That seems like a great idea for motorways. So I think I'll endeavour to do that. What else could I mention? The suspension's really good. I do believe the previous owner did lower this slightly when he updated the suspension, so I think it's slightly lower at the rear than it would normally be. I do believe, but it's super comfy. It does feel like it absorbs way more than what the Virago did. But it's also a heavier bike, so you're not getting that upward force from bumps so much. She's also done just about the same mileage as the Virago as well. Just a little bit less, but I'm sure it's going to be more when I've got some time off. Because like I say, I do want to do the touring. I want to just, you know, disappear for the weekend, go somewhere nice. So yeah, I don't really think there's anything extra I can add. And now it's getting really dark. I'm sure the quality of the video is getting worse and worse. So I think I will leave it there, guys. I am looking forward to more rides out and hopefully making some big videos of some big journeys at some point. So I hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll catch you in another video very soon. Thanks for being here, appreciate you all. I'll see you in the next one.